Hello, my name is Michelle Moore, and I'd just like to take a little time to talk to you about organizational culture, or what I like to call how we do things around here. This presentation is part of the Masters of Entrepreneurship program at Western Carolina University, and the course is Entrepreneurial Growth. I found that organizational culture contains many intertwined strands like a braid. BusinessDictionary.com says that organizational culture includes an organization's expectations, experiences, philosophy, and values that hold it together, but it's also expressed in its self-image, its inner workings, its interactions with the outside world, and future expectations. Organizational culture is the sum of how things are done internally, which paints an external picture. In his book, Business in Context, An Introduction to Business and Its Environment, David Needle says that organizational culture is a product of history, the products that an organization offers or the services, market, technology, strategy, the type of employees, management style, as well as national culture. It also includes vision, values, norms, systems, symbols, language, assumptions, and habits. Organizational culture affects the organization's productivity and performance. It gives a blueprint on customer service, how you treat your customers, the quality of your product, while also ensuring employee engagement and displacement. In 2013, Michael Watkins opened a discussion in LinkedIn where he polled about 300 opinions on organizational culture, its meaning, and its importance. He believed that if we could define organizational culture, it could give us a handle on how to diagnose problems and even determine and develop better cultures. Here are a few of the quotes. Richard Perrin states, organizational culture is the sum of values and rituals which serve as glue to integrate the members of an organization. In his view, culture is about the story, where the people are embedded and values and rituals reinforce the narrative. Alan Adler says that organizational culture is civilization in the workplace. Now, his idea is that the role of culture in promoting and reinforcing right thinking and behaving and penalizing wrong thinking and behaving. The key here is behavioral norms. And Michael Watkins himself says, culture is the organization's immune system. It is a form of protection that has evolved from situational pressures. It prevents wrong thinking and wrong people from entering the organization in the first place. It says here that organizational culture functions much like the human immune system in preventing viruses and bacteria from taking hold and damaging the body. But after pointing out all these strands, we still can ask, what really is culture? I found that culture is the top line that leads to the bottom line. You may think that organizational culture is the bottom line because it determines how we do things, how we convey our vision, how we treat our employees, how we work with customers, how we innovate, as well as how we succeed. And the numbers tell the story. Since the Industrial Revolution, businesses have measured, organized, quantified, qualified, and analyzed every aspect of how things are done in organizations. Data is used to start, maintain, and grow businesses. Some offices are inundated with reports for every department in order to tell the story of the bottom line. And what is that? How high are we in the black and how low are we in the red? But I believe that culture should be the top line because it's about people. The culture experts tell us to focus on those things that affect the way people feel about their work and about their company, and therefore it will lead to improved performance. But how do you quantify feelings and emotions? When you think about it, every product or service that is offered, from conception to distribution, whether it's design, marketing, packaging, or delivery, it has a human factor. Even if it was done electronically or with robots, a human programmed it or built it. Therefore, I think that culture is the top line. It's about human relations, which is the catalyst that leads to the bottom line. Most leaders believe that culture is important. However, the truth is it may not be the number one priority because there are other urgent, pressing priorities that are easily quantifiable, which can take the lead, like meeting deadlines and quotas or increasing productivity. Increasing productivity almost always equates to profit. So why do we focus on culture? A positive, promoting, and rewarding culture aligned with strategic planning creates a synergistic force. And the business can draw from the momentum and energy from how people feel, which translates into a competitive advantage, which translates into an increase in the bottom line. Because an organization's current culture contains several pockets of emotional energy and influence, research shows that companies that use a few specific cultural catalysts, that's like those who use informal emotional approaches to influencing behavior, are significantly more likely to experience change that lasts. People bring energy, energy produces synergy, synergy increases profit. So as a business owner, an entrepreneur, or a leader, ask yourself a few questions to make an assessment about your culture. What are the most important emotional forces that determine what your people do? Ask yourself what motivates your people. Could it be incentives like rewards or recognition? What are a few behavior changes that would matter most in meeting strategic and operational goals? Consider, would a 7 to 3 schedule work better for a parent that would allow them to pick their children up after school instead of putting them in after school care? Or would an 11 to 7 schedule work better for a person that needs to take classes in the morning trying to finish a degree? These are all small adjustments that can improve operational goals, and it will make employees feel better about where they work and the work they do. So who are your authentic informal leaders? Informal leaders are not the title managers, but they're the ones that are the glue to keep the people motivated. They're your cheerleaders. And most of all, what can you and your fellow senior leaders do differently to signal and reinforce those critical behaviors? Are you visible? Are you tangible? Do you just give orders, or do you know your people and show that they are appreciated? I'm a firm believer that if you change behavior, you change results. Change negative perceptions into positive realities. But sometimes change needs to be slow. But then there are other times there has to be drastic changes in order to see immediate results. Your approach to cultural adjustments is critical to the success and acceleration of that change. In closing, organizational culture is what you are saying about who you are and how you treat people. When you ask yourself these questions about the top line, the answers to those questions will give you great insight for improving the bottom line. Here are a list of resources that I used in order to compile this information. One that I found most interesting was the 10 Principles of Organizational Culture. It's number 3. Here, they gave 10 principles for mobilizing your organizational culture, and they really talked about starting small, looking at key behaviors that you want change in order to bring about a greater change. I thank you so much for your attention, and I look forward to speaking to you again.